Long before the names of kings echoed across the subcontinent, the Indian landmass birthed civilizations along the Indus River. But it wasn't until the rise of the Maurya Empire that India saw its first great emperor, Chandragupta Maurya. With vision and might, he united much of India for the first time, laying the foundation for centuries of imperial rule. Guided by the cunning Chanakya, Chandragupta overthrew the Nanda dynasty and established a new political order. From the banks of the Ganges to the western frontiers of the Indus, the Mauryan Empire emerged as a colossus. Its reach and efficiency rivaled that of any empire of its time. But it was his grandson, Ashoka the Great, who truly defined the heights of Indian imperial power. Once a ruthless conqueror, Ashoka's transformation after the bloody Kalinga War marked a turning point. Embracing Buddhism, he vowed peace and compassion for his people and spread this message beyond India's borders. Ashoka's reign brought an era of stability and prosperity. He built roads, hospitals, and rest houses for travelers. Stone pillars etched with edicts declared his commitment to moral governance. Under his rule, Buddhism became a force from Sri Lanka to Central Asia. But after Ashoka's death, the Mauryan Empire crumbled. Weakened by internal dissent and fragmented leadership, it fell to the Sunga dynasty. The great Mauryan dream faded, leaving behind ruins and scattered kingdoms once more. Centuries passed until the rise of the Gupta Empire brought a golden age to the Indian subcontinent. Chandragupta I, not to be confused with his Mauryan namesake, ignited this new era of revival. He expanded his influence through alliances and conquests, establishing a dynasty of art, science, and learning. His successor, Samudragupta, was a warrior poet, expanding the empire through a series of calculated campaigns. Coins bore his image as both musician and conqueror. The subcontinent marveled at his military genius and cultural patronage. The Gupta Empire saw the flowering of Indian classical art and literature. Kalidasa penned his famous plays, while Aryabhata revolutionized astronomy and mathematics. Indian temples began to reflect the intricate architectural genius that would become globally admired. But this golden age would not last. The invasions of the Huns from Central Asia fractured the empire. Gupta power waned, and India once again dissolved into regional kingdoms, each vying for dominance over the others. Then came the rise of the Chola dynasty in the south. While the north grappled with political instability, the Cholas built a maritime empire. Rajaraja Chola I led naval expeditions to Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia, establishing Tamil influence far beyond Indian shores. Rajaraja's son, Rajendra Chola, took the empire even further. His ships sailed to Java, Sumatra, and the Malay Peninsula. The Cholas controlled trade routes, secured regional alliances, and built monumental temples that still stand today. Yet even the mighty Cholas saw decline. Internal strife, succession disputes, and rising powers like the Pandyas and Hoysalas chipped away at their might. Their seaborne empire slowly receded like a tide. In the northwest, a new force emerged. The Delhi Sultanate, led by Turkic and Afghan rulers, brought a wave of Islamic conquests. Qutbuddin Aibak, a former slave, rose to power and began erecting monuments like the Qutb Minar to symbolize the arrival of a new era. The Sultanate's rule, fragmented and unstable at times, still managed to influence Indian architecture, language, and administration. Sultans like Alauddin Khilji expanded territory and restructured the economy, laying groundwork for centralized governance. But it was in 1526 at the First Battle of Panipat, that a new empire arrived. Babur, a descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan, defeated the Lodi Sultanate and established the Mughal Empire, ushering in one of the most iconic imperial dynasties in world history. Babur's grandson, Akbar the Great, became the most admired of all Mughal emperors. A master of diplomacy and warfare, Akbar expanded the empire and sought to unify it through tolerance, administrative reforms, and dialogue between faiths. Akbar abolished the jizya tax on non-Muslims and brought Hindus into the imperial court. He created a centralized bureaucracy and fostered a syncretic culture that embraced both Persian and Indian elements. Jahangir, Akbar's son, inherited a thriving empire but focused more on art and culture. Under his rule, Mughal painting and architecture reached new heights. Yet, court intrigue and succession battles cast shadows on his rule. Then came Shah Jahan, the emperor of marble dreams. His reign saw the construction of the Taj Mahal, a timeless symbol of love and imperial grandeur. But the beauty of his era masked the brewing storm of empire fatigue and internal rebellion. Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan's son, pushed the empire to its largest territorial extent. Yet his orthodox policies and prolonged military campaigns drained the empire's wealth and fractured its stability. His intolerance undid much of Akbar's legacy of harmony. After Aurangzeb's death, the Mughal Empire began to fracture. Regional powers like the Marathas rose in defiance. European colonial ambitions began to seep into Indian politics. The once mighty empire became a relic, clinging to past glory. As the British East India Company gained ground, emperors in Delhi became figureheads. In 1857, the Indian Rebellion erupted, with Bahadur Shah Zafar declared the symbolic leader. But the revolt failed, and the British deposed him, marking the official end of the Mughal Empire. With the fall of the last emperor, India transitioned into a colony of the British Crown. For nearly a century, no Indian emperor would rule. The age of imperial India had come to an end, replaced by foreign dominion and struggle. Independent kingdoms like Mysore, under Tipu Sultan, and Punjab, under Maharaja Ranjit Singh, tried to resist the British, embodying the last echoes of sovereign rule, but they too fell, one after another, to the expanding British Raj. Even as emperors vanished, the spirit of India endured. The cultural, scientific, and spiritual contributions of these empires left a lasting mark on civilization, from zero to yoga and from Ajanta caves to the Red Fort. India's emperors were not just conquerors, they were builders of ideas. Their visions shaped how people lived, believed, and governed. Their legacies extended beyond borders, touching realms they never set foot in. And so the saga of Indian emperors, from Chandragupta to Zafar, tells the story of a nation in motion, always rising, always transforming. Their triumphs and tragedies remain etched in stone and soul, whispering through time the tale of a timeless land.